It is Bones, and of course, today we have a topic to talk about, and that is that McFarlane has officially extended the license with Warner Brothers DC. Now, this is kind of bittersweet for me because I kind of already knew that McFarlane was going to renew the license. Some of the clues were the way he resurrected DC Direct and started releasing some of the older figures from that line, and also his expansion of the DC line with the superpowers, the page punchers, the smaller figures, the statues, basically just expanding as much as he can in the DC figure business. Now, we did see this from a post that was online, and of course this line is very polarizing because you either love it or you hate it. There's very few people that are in the middle. I love it, but I do not really care if, other people hate it. It doesn't affect me. I collect what I want to collect, and that's just the way it's going to be. One thing I will give him credit for is McFarlane did do this with a lot of things going against him. Of course, Warner Brothers has the no gun rule, and surprisingly it's only on McFarlane figures. I mean, it's kind of weird because the Spin Master figures actually have no problem having their gun style weapons and things like that. And it's just kind of funny that McFarlane had that, extra little thing, bogging them down and not letting them take full advantage of the DC characters and the weapons that they come with. Another thing was he hasn't really released that many female figures. He has actually recently started to release more, but I do think there's like something against having any scantily clad females. I mean, you're not going to see probably the version of Big Barda that I would like to see. You're probably going to see her more in her armored version. And that pretty much goes for a lot of figures, but you never know. Maybe I could be proven wrong in these next years that he has the license. Maybe there will be some more female figures that are appealing to the eye. Now, there's also little detailed things like cigars and cigarettes. I mean, that's not a big thing, but in like collector lines, they do, release the figures with their cigar or cigarette. But it's just something that McFarlane cannot do because this is a mass-produced line and it is in shelves all over the world. So he does have those little restrictions holding him back, but by far he has done an awesome job. Big congratulations to him and his team, whoever that may be, pumping out these DC Multiverse figures and also other lines. He has tons of other lines that he works on. So that's always cool because we know that he's doing well and can invest more money into each line that he actually produces himself. Another thing he had going against him from the beginning is that I do feel that since he decided to go 7-inch, which necessarily doesn't mean that there's not other 7-inch collectors, because NECA is 7-inch, Mattel is pretty much 7-inch, you have Super 7, all those other 7-inch lines. But I think the Marvel collectors that would have bought a lot more of his figures if he would have made them 6-inch. And so he lost a big part of the sales there. I would have to guess, I'm not sure. But for some reason, we don't know exactly why, but we do know he's kind of kooky. He went with the 7-inch line and basically separated himself from all the 6-inch collectors out there, which of course will be a pretty uphill battle to convert them to 7-inch because they're basically stuck in their 6-inch ways and there's no turning them back. Now me, I had no problem because I collected 6-inch for a long time and I was basically ready for something new, something different. The 7-inch line has kind of like elevated my palette in figures, where I could see how being a 7-inch figure and being a little bit larger, there's just a little bit more detail in the sculpt and things like that that could be added. Whereas with a 6-inch figure, since you're dealing with a smaller figure, it's just harder to get those little details in there. But we still know that a lot of collectors will never forgive McFarlane for going with the 7-inch. I do know that when they did the announcement, right away I had to go and take a dive into the comments, because it's just an itch that I have to scratch to, see what the rumblings are, on the streets. But of course, there I did find the basic, complaints that are always heard, which is, oh, if it was 6-inch, I would buy it. Where's the female figures? And too many Batman, which, is pretty redundant at this point. But I could hear the collective scream from the worms out there that McFarlane signed on. Another thing that I really wasn't too fond of was that basically it's until 2025, so that kind of gives us a little bit more than 2 years. We still have half of this year to go through. But that does also bring up another point, and that is that basically up to this point, McFarlane has released a little bit, almost close to 400 figures, and that is in total in the whole line. So basically, we're looking at, he's on pace for maybe, possibly, by the end of that renewal, if it happens or not, we could be looking at 800, almost 1,000 figures from McFarlane. As we know, in a action figure line, it's kind of rare to see even 20, figures. A lot of companies come in and they only make 20 figures, or about that, 30 maybe. And it's real rare for a line to continue on over the hundreds. But yes, in the comments you could see a lot of the, hate coming out there, of course, like always. And people could say like, oh, they hurt your feelings because they talk about DC Multiverse or McFarlane. Trust me, I have no feelings. I am a pretty emotionless person. It's real hard to get a rise out of me, because basically anybody talking hate, which is probably like a coward, because he knows he's free to say whatever he wants on the interwebs. He'll never see you face to face. So that's why I don't go around and talk crap to other people in other comment sections, because why would I? There's no reason for me to. I get no satisfaction from belittling other people or talking about what they collect. I just pretty much keep to my own. And the last time I checked, a lot of these worms don't buy my figures. I buy my own stuff. I buy more than figures. I buy I buy other stuff that I collect and have fun doing. And I'm pretty sure they've never, paid for anything for me. So I'm free to collect what I want, when I want, and how I want. Now, I do see some comments about like other lines, like what if another line got the DC, license, which honestly, it would be fine by me, because I would have so many, McFarlane Multiverse figures that I would probably be like, hey, we had a good run. Let's go ahead and go on to the next, phase of our collecting lives. So if NECA got the license, if Mattel got the license, even if Hasbro got the license, it would just be another form of my DC collecting life, and I wouldn't really care. I would support the line in the same way I do McFarlane. So for people who say like, oh, you always kiss McFarlane's butt, or you're a shill from a front, I like the line, I collect the line, but if we move on to a different line, it's not going to make a difference. But it will be sad, because I don't think other lines would run the way the Multiverse line has run. We wouldn't have such an expansion of the line and different characters. And that was another weird thing, that some people would say that, oh, we need to open the characters more. We've had tons of different characters, tons of different other things that aren't Batman. But they want more. They want more, and I think actually they're like, fanboy fantasies will never be satisfied. They'll never be happy. You could give them everything that they're asking for and they'll want something else, which is fine. That shows you that, this line is wanted. So I'll always be an advocate of speaking your mind and saying what you want from the line, even if we probably won't get it. But we can always ask and hope for getting things that we want personally in our own collections. A lot of companies actually had a couple of runs. DC Direct, I don't know what they were thinking, but first they made like such a random assortment of figures that you weren't really able to consistently collect, DC Direct because they were just like all over the place. But then they did that DC Icons, which was like a 5-inch line, and you could be like, no, don't lie, Bones. It wasn't 5 inch. It was 5 inch. I actually think I have one here. Yes. This is a DC Icons Rebirth Superman, and they were very small figures. Now, I'm not going to say they weren't nice because they were nice. They had really great articulation. But I do not know why they decided to go with 5 inch. You can see here how small he is compared to a McFarlane figure. But they only went like 30 figures deep. So that was it. So if this was such a great line, if this was so, groundbreaking, then why did it go down in flames? That was it. This line didn't last long at all. Then they went with the DC Essentials with their like orangutan arms and weird proportions. People talk about McFarlane, but those Essentials were really, really weird looking. And the same thing, they only made about 20, 30 figures, and that was it. Right here with McFarlane, we got something good going, and that is that we could be looking at a massive McFarlane collection. I already have amassed a big collection, not to mention the fact that I have all of the line. Basically, I'm missing like little parts, mint in box, in my storage. So I have my open figures, I have my custom repaint figures, and then I still have my mint in package figures. So I'm a big proponent of this line, and that is not going to change or end anytime soon. So I'm positive that, everybody's not happy, but the ones who collect McFarlane's line and really enjoy it, you don't necessarily have to buy every figure like I do, but you can, pick the ones you like. But we should be looking at a massive figure run. Hundreds of figures. Love to see getting us to that 1,000 figure mark, which would be unheard of, especially in a 5-year run. So congratulations to McFarlane, to all of his staff, everybody that works with him. Congratulations to you if you love this line, and we're going to get more years of figures coming out from McFarlane. You're looking at vehicles. He also spread out into now he's going to make that deluxe figure line, which I think there's been a couple of announcements of, rumors of who's going to be there. But I'm pretty sure we're not going to be let down by the figures from that deluxe line. But anyways, you guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.
Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Fat Man.